Before we get started here, I want to give a shout out to Official GATG, which actually kind of gave me the inspiration to make this. 2015, as he stated, has been the year where a lot of folks have just gone off the fucking deep end. We've gone apeshit, we've gone crazy, we complain about every little thing that happens in this world around us. We're actually going to the level now where we're digging, like literally digging for treasure, but instead of digging for treasure, we are digging for offense, and we find it in just about everything that occurs in this world that surrounds us. Some of it is legitimate, others are not, but here are the 10 things in 2015 that caused people to lose their minds the most. Let's call this, just for fun, the top 10 things people were offended by in the year 2015. So number 10 is something that you would think would be a help. The $15 minimum wage. This caused a ton of offense considering the whole economic idea that is associated with it. This is something that is a good enough idea, but then folks believe that $15 an hour is not worth it for somebody who's, flipping burgers or perhaps working behind the counter at a gas station. Somebody who's not doing what they consider to be model work. Minimum work equals minimum wage. If you don't do something that's all of that important, like being an EMT or a doctor or a soldier or, one of these high lofty, we wear a uniform that says that we represent this type thing. These people do that too, don't get me wrong, but they're flipping a burger patty. That's all they're doing. They're not doing anything all that special. I could do that, blah, blah, blah. This drove people insane, and this was actually more of an issue than the actual issue itself. Of the reason why a $15 minimum wage would actually be kind of a hard thing to pull off, and why it would actually not solve a lot of the economic problems that America currently has, considering if you're paying people more, then there's a good chance that the manufacturing costs of many products will have to go up in order to offset the balance and keep companies profitable, which would then cause the increase of prices for the goods that you see. But that's not what people care about. They just care about the fact that they want to make their job feel and seem like it's more important than those who are making minimum wage. So somebody who's making $11 an hour wants to talk down somebody who's making $8.25 because they're flipping burgers, and instead this person that's talking is maybe in an office that's taking phone calls. Oh, your job's all that hard? Fuck off. Man, this is something that drove so many people insane that if this actually happens, then people were threatening to leave the country over this, because they think that $15 an hour flipping burgers would make these people seem more important than soldiers. I would like to think that everything else would scale upward. They might have a point. Either way, they lost their minds. Number 9, the Starbucks coffee cup and the OCD Christmas sweater fiascos. These are recent, that's why they're so low. People were going nuts over this. It's a fucking coffee cup, it's a fucking sweater. I'm going to say that one more time. It's a fucking coffee cup, and it's a fucking sweater. The sweater isn't talking about obsessive compulsive disorder, it's talking about people who are obsessed with Christmas. It's talking about people who are obsessed with Christmas. If you think that it means something completely different, guess what? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not making fun of your disorder, it's not making fun of a disorder that's like it, it's not doing anything of that variety. It's talking about people that like to decorate their houses from head to toe with Christmas decoration. Weren't we just saying that there's a war on Christmas with the Starbucks coffee cup controversy? Because there's nothing Christmassy on the cups? Oh no! There's nothing Christmassy on the cups. That's bad. That's obsessive Christmas disorder? No, there's no such thing as an obsessive Christmas disorder. No, they're talking bad about people with OCD and autism, and they're talking about people with mental illnesses, and they're making fun of them. That's what they're doing, fucking Target. What a bunch of jackasses taking advantage of people like that. God damn it, am I offended by that. God damn, don't have an opinion that's other than mine on something like that, or son of a bitch are you gonna hear about it. God, these people freaking made me upset. But you know what? It's over now. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8, the Confederate flag. Over the summertime, this was a huge hot button issue, considering the Confederate flag was, oh boy, they were calling for a ban for it, considering its background, considering it has a background that has some racist ties and this and that, and we're going to get into some of the other reasons later on in the list, but The Confederate flag being banned was just kind of a silly notion that occupied some time during the first portion of the summer of this year. And while there is association and this and that, the real roots of the Confederate flag was a reflection of the Confederacy. Whenever the Confederacy started up, the South that was, before the Civil War, they did need a banner, they did need a flag, and they were able to come up with the Confederate flag. The fact that it is still something that is really held and grasped to by people to this day does seem a little bit silly. There is a heritage idea that I guess is being tossed around. I don't know. It's one of those things where you almost have to be from the area and understand what it's all about and kind of how it affects people that are surrounding the area or whatever it is. And I'm not from the South, so I unfortunately can't go like balls deep in that. I did make a video about this. It's one that had some parallel opinions. I don't think that I was really as down the line as I should have been with that, but at the time I was really hot about it. But this was something that didn't really need to happen all of that much. This felt like a distraction, which everybody claims half of these things are, but this one legitimately felt like one that could have been avoided, but drove people crazy. Number 7, we have Planned Parenthood. This one is somewhat new, but somewhat old. We've been talking about, the funding Planned Parenthood, this and that, what they do. They support abortion. This goes back to Roe versus Wade. People are going fucking crazy about this. And here's the sort of weird-ass parallel between this. Here's where the freaking American way really showcases its true colors. We've been talking about Planned Parenthood for so long. We're talking about how people are people and how, we have to treat people with respect and dignity and that all human life is sacred. And then Planned Parenthood gets attacked by a Christian radical and it fades into the background and people are supporting the person who perpetuated the attack. So basically, if you're inside of the womb, you're a person, you matter more than anything else in the world, but once you're out, fuck yourself, especially if you assign yourself or align yourself with Planned Parenthood or something that we don't think is right. Isn't that just such a great analogy for what America in 2015 has truly become? Because I certainly think it is. Personally speaking, and this is me getting slightly political, I don't think that Planned Parenthood should be defunded. I think there's plenty that they do that actually does offer some support. If you're pro-life and you're just doing this based around the whole abortion idea, it's a good, early foothold stance, but you're completely discounting the other portion of Planned Parenthood. So this is a debate that's going to be raging on for a while. Number 6, Kim Davis, and of course, gay marriage. Gay marriage was made legal, same-sex marriage that is, was made legal in the latter portions rather of June, and then the whole Kim Davis fiasco happened in September. She was refusing to sign, wedding or marriage licenses rather for folks that were of the same-sex variety, and she went to prison, and then she came out and she did this little thing because she's so happy, and yeah, it's iconic right now, but Kim Davis was something that sparked this whole conflict once again. Just a couple of months after something got settled with it, something became unsettled with it, and the whole shitstorm started right back up again. And this time it was because of what some stupid idiot from the freaking Bible Belt was doing. And that's just the truth of things. That's not me being cruel, it's just the truth of things. Kim Davis all of a sudden propelled right to the front page of the news and everything like that and became this icon for standing up for what you believe in, standing up for this, standing your ground, good Christian values and all of this other stuff. You're really starting to notice a theme here. And it's not even a liberal versus a conservative ideal here. It's just a common sense ideal. No one seems willing to simply call this what it is. Common sense ideals that we should allow people to be happy. We are in a country that is founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, correct? Because I'm seeing life, and a lot of times it's being taken away. Liberties are something that's being given and taken away at the same time, I guess, but the pursuit of happiness seems like a surefire shitstorm that everybody seems to be fighting over. Man, just let these people be happy. Kim, sign the fucking documents and shut the fuck up. If I didn't do that and I was, at another job, you had another position, if you didn't fulfill the responsibilities of your position, you'd be fired, and guess what? You don't get your fucking job back, you dummy. Well, guess what? You did, because life isn't fair. So fuck yourself. Please. 3 weddings, 3 men, people knocked up your freaking ugly ass. I'm shocked. But then again, given where you're located, maybe I shouldn't be. Number 5, new feminism. Now, feminism as an idea, whenever it was first conceived, great idea. Supporting equality had a good measure to it, and now look at what has happened. Look at what has happened here in 2015, where the patriarchy has now become associated with so much other garbage, so many things that have jack and shit to do with what the actual root of feminism is all about. Now, I'm going to be critical here. There are some people in the new feminist movements that are perfectly fine. They just understand that they identify as feminists, and this is a new age, so new feminism. And then there's the new feminist extremists. These are the people that take it way too far. And this has been driving people up a wall principally because their thoughts and views seem to be counterproductive to what feminism is all about. This whole concept of, he looked at me funny, he looked at me sexually, so he raped me, is absolutely absurd. And now we have about 55 different gender identities that really doesn't have much to do with feminism, but the parallels being drawn just seem to be really, really hurtful. And it further divides this country, and it has done so in the way in which people have gone absolutely bananas about this crap. Man, I would really love to see a legion of the former feminists, the ones that were originally a part of the movement, come to 2015, whether they be living or dead, and just slap the shit out of some of these people. But that's just me. Number 4, hashtag Black Lives Matter and hashtag All Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter started in 2014 after some of the different attacks that took place between, well, we all know the stories, you know, the Mike Browns and everything of the world, but now here in 2015, people had to take it one step further. They had to go even further. Black Lives Matter was now offensive, considering it was just trying to be supportive of African American individuals that felt like they were being belittled. So now we need all lives matter. We need to have a symbol of unity that is now consistently debated, and actually kind of ruins the whole idea of Black Lives Matter, considering that was supposed to be a united front. It's almost like taking away something that they were trying to do for themselves in order to try to now put them in the entirety of the world and in the universe, when in reality all they want to do is support a cause that is unique to their identity and something that they feel very strongly and very passionately about. Am I necessarily against all lives matter? Fuck no, because that's the way I've lived life ever since, I don't know, the day I was born. Since the day I was born, I have been of the notion that everybody here, we are all created equal, we are all equal individuals that are deserving of equal rights, equal attention, and equal fucking fair playing field. And you know what, as you grow up, you start to learn that that sure as shit isn't true. But all lives still damn matter. But for crying out loud, why did we need this? This is something that should have been obvious. All lives matter is an obvious sentiment that should be rooted into everybody's skull, and if you're the least bit racist in any sort of way, or even an Islamophobe, which we're going to get to, believe me, you need to rethink your life just a little bit, bud. That's all I'm going to say. Number 3, oh god, Obama and gun control. This shit comes up every single time some dumbass decides he's gonna shoot someplace up. Whether it be what just happened in San Bernardino, which was a horrible tragedy. Planned Parenthood, we didn't really have this discussion. Kind of, maybe, sort of. Oh, wait, that's what the discussion turned into, because we want to avoid the fact that it was a Christian fucking terrorist, a domestic Christian terrorist. Call it what it is. You know, what happened in Paris, what's happened here and there. Oh, Obama's gonna come and take our guns away. Then we talk about gun control for another 3 fucking days, and then nothing happens, because nothing's going to happen. It's an amendment in the Constitution. They want revision. They want a little bit of reform. They're not just going to come to your house and search through everything, take every single gun and piece of ammunition that you've got, and leave us completely open to anything that happens. No. If you believe that that's the case, if you believe that's what's going to happen, please, please, adjust the tinfoil hat a little bit. You've somehow gotten off, you're attracting a brand new channel, a brand new station. Please get back to the station that the rest of us with sanity are on. Thanks. Number 2, Donald Trump and Islamophobia. Jesus Christ, the second half of this year has been freaking absurd. Donald Trump's words alone could probably give him number 1 status, but something's actually worse. But Islamophobia after the Paris attacks, it's something that's ridiculous and has gone to a level that it's absurdity. It's really become absurdity. I'm not necessarily on the liberal or conservative side on this, but this is something that is driving the world by storm, and it's something that various politicians, various leaders of not only countries, but also of cities, of towns, of states, whatever it may be, are condemning these words, they're condemning these ideas. And is it a showcase of liberalism? I really don't think so. I think it's just a showcase of the fact that history is supposed to help us learn things, and this doesn't feel like that anything's being learned from history. We need to understand that not all people are terrorists, not all black people are thugs, not all white people are scum, not all men are horrible, horrible abominations of the patriarchy, and not all feminists are bad people. In fact, there's some great people out there. But Islamophobia just seems to really showcase this. It seems like we've just taken this group of people and we've now made them essentially the new source of our bane. And this is something that's not new, to be perfectly blunt. Ever since September 11th, Islamic folks have been looked at just a little bit differently. The wounds were healing a little bit until ISIS came along and really gave that a jump start. And really, who do we have to blame for that? I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there. Who do we have to blame for that? You have to look a little internally. But either way, Donald Trump's words almost seem like he's trying to self-suicide his own presidential campaign. And the Islamophobia that's being attached to it only seems to be aiding the slow death that will be this. Which, real talk, I'm kind of happy about, because I think that would be just a mistake. But I also know there's folks out there that think very differently from me. The number one thing that drove people batshit crazy in 2015 was Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner. It wasn't just the fact that the whole operation and the whole thing was supposed to bring this and that and these and those to gender identity, to transgender individuals. I get that. That's a great story. In fact, that is a great and powerful thing. The overexposure is really what killed it. And the fact that this was a constant debate that is now leading to all of this other stuff that has come in, and people constantly debating about that and constantly saying this and that. Listen, Bruce Jenner wanted to be Caitlyn Jenner. That's fine. Maybe we do need some gender neutrality whenever it comes to some things, but I don't think it's necessary for everything. Just because you show on a sign boys' toys or girls' toys doesn't mean that a boy can't walk through the girls' toys and want to play with them. Same thing with girls and boys. Tomboys have been around since the dawn of reality. And men that have been a little bit more effeminate, same concept. This is not something that's so brand new that we all of a sudden need to revise the whole entire world that we live in. But whenever you consider transgender folks, and whenever you consider anybody within that universe, you need to understand that they are kind of looked at a little bit differently. They're looked at as different, and that's not cool. You know, all lives matter, right? We just talked about that in number 4. If all lives matter, those lives matter too. And you just can't fucking single out which ones that you deem to be the most important of them all and then treat the others like assholes. That's just an asshole thing to do. That makes you the asshole. But then Caitlyn gets the Person of the Year award or the Sportsman of the Year whenever no sports were played. There is a point where you're just doing these things just to freaking do them because they're easy, because they're in the news, because you think that they're going to get you press, and they're the wrong move. There are individuals that deserve this award over Caitlyn Jenner. In fact, just about anybody that was nominated did. Bruce decided to have a surgery. He decided to make his inward feeling, his inward appearance become his outward appearance, which is very brave. It's very brave, it is very bold, it is something that we should all strive to really do. We should strive to be who we feel we are on the inside. But then it went too far. And the comments about this, the blatant just ridiculosity centered around this, went so many steps further than it needed to that it was just ridiculous. But then there's number 0. You might wonder what number 0 is. Social justice warriors, SJWs. We're all offended by you because you're the type of folks that get offended by anything. So we respond by just getting offended by you. It's extremely simple for us to do, considering you literally dig for treasure and find a fence, and that's absurd. That's ridiculous. You need to look at things through reality, not through whatever spiral sunglasses that you're wearing, whatever music that you're listening to that's literally just telling you everything's offensive, there's offense in that, there's offense in that rock is really offensive, so is that CD, so is that box, so is that this, so is that vacuum is simply reinvigorating the patriarchy. Stop! Cease! Quit it! Jeez. There you have it. 10 things people were offended by in 2015, and a bonus! 2016 will no doubt be worse. We might do this again. If you want us to, say do it again in the comments. Fuck.